Hey guys, welcome to another Chessmaster stream video. Today I'm gonna do chess puzzles, so if you feel like solving them yourself, feel free to pause the video anytime. So let's get into it. First puzzle, it is white to move, so what to do? Um, First thing I see, our queen is under attack. Next thing, how can we deal with it? Well, there is couple ways. We could also do a counter attack. So maybe some of the ideas would be bishop c2, just in case they take our queen, I can take their queen, but they would take the rook as well with a check. So that doesn't work immediately. Another thing I'm looking for is some kind of a checkmate ideas. I'm not quite sure there is any. I could also grab the pawn, so if they take the queen, I can take their queen, but then they take the rook as well with a check again, so that doesn't work. So do we have any checks? Looks like we don't have any checks. So yeah, this one is not that easy to see. Maybe it's because it's so open and aggressive, and there is not like one straightforward move, but maybe some deeper tactics. So maybe chop this one, and they chop back. Then I can move in the queen, and if I take this guy and they don't take back, it's checkmate, right? So I think I have to take the knight, because the knight is guarding f5 square where my queen would like to go. And let's say I take the knight and they take my queen, it's checkmate, so let's do this. And there's no way to escape checkmate, right? I can even take this pawn with a check. They would block with the rook, then check downtown. Or maybe just take here first. I think I have to be as forced as possible since they have rook takes h3 check, so I'm thinking about checking here. So rook has to block, otherwise rook will be lost. And so how to finish? Now queen f8 check, king up, and don't really see the finale here. So okay, well, I have three possible checks, right? Queen takes, rook with a check, king takes back. Then I could come down with the rook. They would have to go down. I'm not sure it's winning. Queen here, rook can block, or king up, and queen d8. Queen d8 I don't like because it's going a little away from the king. I kinda like to move closer. So also I could push the pawn, but that's not as forcing because we have hanging bishop, hanging pawn, and both they are taking with the check, so I have to be more forced. So queen down, let's say rook blocks. How to proceed? Then queen up with a checkmate. Alright, so if queen f8, rook g8, then queen h6 checkmate. Okay, so but what if queen f8 and rook doesn't block, king moves up? Well, I could go ahead and hit the bishop in. So they have two options, take with the rook or king. Let's say they take with the rook. Then I can bring my rook and deliver checkmate in 2 to take with the king. I think it's gonna be checkmate as well, so this should be winning. Alright, and there we go, mate in 2 now. So this one wasn't that easy, guys. Puzzle rating was 1905. Our puzzle rating is right now 1687. So gained only 7 rating points for a so tough puzzle. Alright. Well, quite a lot of moves as well, and not so straightforward, guys. I'm actually lucky to find the sequence. So I counted 11 moves, so it's plus minus 5 moves. Deep calculation, that's crazy. Well, I didn't see all the way through. I had to stop and think again, but luckily it was possible to do so. So let's continue. New puzzle. If you feel like solving it, you know what to do. Pause this video. Alright. First thing first, bishop hangs, right? He can just take it. Another thing this guy cannot take because it's pinned to the bishop. I could just kick the bishop away. I have a couple checks, so queen gives a check, bishop gives a check to the king, and I need to find out the right sequence. So let's say queen checks king, they block somehow, I pick up the bishop, right? They can take the knight with a check, I would take back, then bishop comes in, wins a pawn, I would have to move the rook. Well, I can do this, but then the knight hangs. Okay, so first check, they block it, I pick up bishop. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take that bishop, right? Because they have to deal with the check first. It's so easy. I can also take the knight now, in between moves, so I would attack their queen. Then they would just take my queen. Okay. So 1400 rated puzzle. Well, after that 1900, this felt like too easy, you know. Okay. Moving on to the next puzzle. So, what do we see here? Black to move. I can pick up the bishop. What else? Well, I can take this bad boy. This one is possible, but the bishop will be pinned due to the rook to the king. So also one of those puzzles that I have to choose the right sequence. So this one is not possible actually, because I think that then they would just try to open up everything. What I feel like doing, bishop takes bishop. I can also just take their bishop first. Nothing can stop me from that, right? So if I take the bishop, what's their reaction? They could take my bishop, right? But I would recapture. 2 ways to recapture. So it looks good for me. You know what's the toughest thing? That I cannot really go a couple moves back and see how we get here. Sometimes that helps. Alright, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, let's say I take the bishop, they take this guy, I will take back. Well, queen will be on the knight, but king will be defending it, so it should be okay. Oh, and then they will take the bishop, and the important move will be not to capture back with the king, but with the knight. And remember, king is here, so queen will not be able to chop the rook because the other rook defends. So I think I got the sequence. Pawn takes, rook takes, king takes, bishop takes bishop, knight takes back. So that's how it is. Oh, it doesn't even go that far. So puzzle rating was almost 2000. Wow, 1983 rated puzzle. So I managed to calculate it correctly. So those type of puzzles are not that hard once you realize that you need to find the right move order and you know, just trust yourself. Just go for it. Alright, next one. It's a white to move, so pause the video if you want to solve this yourself. What do we see over here? Our knight is under fire, our rook is under fire. This pawn is pinned, so cannot capture anything because the queen is in front of the king. So I can take their rook, they will take my rook. Does that give me anything good? So yeah, this one is also not that easy. Probably another puzzle that's close to 2000 rating. If you can see the correct solution, guys, feel free to let me know. I'm leaning forwards to taking out this guy, so that way their king will stay in the center. Could also double the rooks, pile up on that knight. And this bishop is doing nothing. So bishop here, that would just lose the rook. Also gotta be careful, this pawn is quite loose. So bishop is defending and rook is defend. Oh, okay, queen also. Well, no, I take my words back. It's not loose. It's pretty well defended pawn. All right. Well, let's say I do something weird and take that rook. They take our rook on d4. Then knight. I don't know. Knight has to be saved. I could just put the queen on f3, prep for checkmate then. I'm not sure I have time for preparation moves. So what if I just take the knight, and if they take back, then I take the rook. So maybe that's it. Can I do that? I want to. And what if I take the knight and they take my knight? Yeah. It feels like I could open up that king. Okay, so last move I didn't check queen sack. If you see a queen sacrifice, just go for it. Let's say I do this with a check. So they have options. Let's say they go with the straightforward option and recapture. Gives us nothing, just giving up queen. Oh wow. Did it really clicks now? I think it's clicking. It's clicking in. What if rook d5? Cannot take due to the pin, so queen has to move. Not that many squares for the first lady over here. In the corner. No, not in the corner. Back or here in the corner. Okay, well. So if I do this, I save the rook and then I take the rook. That sounds nice. Oh wow. So they're taking 3 points for knight against queen for like 9 points, and then they get the rook 5 points. So in the end it's 8 points versus 9 points. And look what I got. I got nice attack on the e6 pawn. Alright, we solved this one too. So thinking about calling it today, since you know, running so good. Okay, maybe last puzzle. What do you say, guys? Final one. So they took some of our piece. I didn't really catch which one. Probably a knight. Usually there's a knight. So straightforward idea would be a queen takes bishop, right? I can also take their bishop over here on a d3 square. And Yeah, I need to come up with a sequence that's winning stuff. So if I take the bishop, they take my queen. I take their queen, they have to take back my pawn, and I get the bishop in the end. So I'm gonna be up a piece for a pawn, so 3 points for 1 point. Is that it? So pawn takes, bishop takes, pawn takes queen, rook takes bishop. Yeah, they have to take. If they don't take the pawn back and save the bishop from here away, I can just take the rook now. So I'm still up. Alright, let's do it. Another puzzle that has really important sequence of moves. So puzzle rating was just 1462. Wow, that's really low rated puzzle for actually a little bit of a complicated puzzle. So look at that, we succeeded all 5 puzzles, so our rating now is 1705. That's great. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it instructional. If you did, press that bell button so you get notifications whenever I make a new upload. So follow this channel and see you in the next video.